Okay, Assalamualaikum semua. If you're anything like me, mungkin dah penat makan makanan raya seperti rendang, ketupat dan sebagainya. So hari ini kita masak sayur yang sangat simple. Kita nak masak kangkung. As usual, kita start dengan 2 ulas bawang yang belum dikopek. So we just dump it in. Kita nak kopek dia, kita tutup dia. And we will do 5 seconds, reverse, speed 4.5 or 5. Ding 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 ding, dah siap dah. So apa jadi dengan kita punya bawang? Tada, dia dah kopek kita punya bawang. Cantik sekali. And you didn't even have to touch it. If you have tongs or chopstick, bolehlah buat kan. Tapi yang ni mungkin ada yang anak yang cerewet sikit, tak suka bawang putih kalau besar sangat. So kita akan chop dia, nak kasih halus lagi, okay? So we're just gonna scrape it down like I did just now. Dah scrape down. Kita tutup dia balik and we will chop it for 2 seconds on speed 6. I sengaja pakai yang lama ni punya measuring cup so you can see. I don't know if you can see or not. 2 seconds, speed 6. Okay, let's see our garlic. Look at that, beautiful. Kalau 2 ulas bawang kat blender biasa tu, sama ada dia duduk je kat bawah ataupun dia terbang ke atas kan. Okay, so we just scrape it down and then we add 10 grams of oil. You can use olive oil because we are using low temperature cooking, or you can use, because today I'm going to cook kangkung with a bit of leftover sambal, so I'm using minyak biasa je, 10 gram je. 10 gram, that's 5 gram. 10 gram is about 2 sudu minyak masak. Okay, and then we just cover it. And we set it for 3 minutes. Always for saute atau tumis, kita guna setting 120C, 120C, and speed 1. And so now it's stirring by itself. You can see that the knife is moving. So wonderful. So now you can imagine when you are cooking other things, you can just leave it. Boleh tinggalkan sahaja. Okay, sambil tu I'm just gonna show you my kangkung. I'm gonna lift this up so I don't have to move my phone anymore. Remember, when you move your Thermomix, the base of your Thermomix are actually weighing scale sensors, so you do not push or pull it, you have to lift it up. So I'm gonna lift this up and move this aside just a little bit, just to show you what I did with my kangkung. Okay, so I actually used the varoma dish for my leaves and the varoma tray for my stem. Sebab masa while I was separating it tadi and washing it, it's more convenient. You get more leaves than stems, can. And I'm of the, if it's my husband doing the cooking, he would just chop everything and throw in at the same time. For me, I'm the type, I like the cooking experience, especially when it comes to vegetables. I want it to be as pleasant as possible. So I like to make the stems softer for the kids to be able to enjoy, and for the leaves to be a bit crispy so that they're still nice and green. So that's why I take the trouble of separating them. So what I do, just like when we do the broccoli recipe, we cook it for 4 minutes. So I'm gonna put in the stems first and I let it cook for about 3 minutes before I add in my leaves in the final 1 minute. So that way this one is perfectly cooked. This one is just like cukup-cukup je untuk layu, kasih layu dia. But it still retains its color and its crunch. So of course it's up to you. These are just tips, whatever you prefer. You can always modify the way you cook things in the Thermomix. What's important is you get the basic methods right. So this is how I do it, and I like how I can use the varoma dish and the varoma tray as colanders, so I don't have to have separate stuff. This is why they say that the Thermomix is the world's smallest kitchen, because you have most everything that you need to start cooking. You have these as the colander. You can also use this to drain pasta. You can steam in this, and the lid can also be used as replacement for your silicone mat if you don't have a thermal mat. So while I was talking, our garlic is nicely browning and you don't even realize it. There are no fumes, you just get the aroma. I have 24 seconds to go. It smells so wonderful, if only you can smell it. And you can see the light has turned red. That means dia dah panas dah. Sebelum ni dia warna hijau. Once the temperature goes up to 60 and above, then it will start to turn red. So it's a visual warning for kids or whoever. They see that it's hot and they should stay away. I mean, even if they touch it, they won't burn, but it will still be hot and might surprise them. So for this one, you know, for daily cooking, you know that we look at that, so wonderful. And our bawang is not burnt at all. It's just wonderfully browned and sweated, so it tastes nice. It doesn't taste raw, and I've eaten raw garlic and it's not pleasant. It's like pedas, and it's like it stings, it bites your tongue. But this one, once you sweat it out, then it's just nice. The flavor is just perfect and it's not burned. I know I tried sauteing in a pan before and not very pleasant results. So you can always modify your recipe however you want. I happen to have a little bit of leftover sambal from our nasi lemak yesterday, and I'm just gonna put this in here. So in fact, I will not put salt anymore. I will just put this in. I will just decide if I want to put salt or not later once the veggie is done, because yang ni dah cukup masin because dia ada bawa ikan bilis. So I'm just gonna put this in here, and then I'm gonna put in my stems, and then I will set it for 4 minutes. And then I want it to have a little bit of kuah, so I'm gonna put in about 50 ml of water, which is half a measuring cup. So buat ni dulu. I have my leaf there. So you can modify your recipe whatever way you like your veggie. This is just one way to let you give you ideas. Maybe you want it with ketchup, maybe you want it with, I don't know, whatever you like. So we set it at 4 minutes. Varoma, reverse, because we don't want to chop the veggie. We want it to stir. So you will see now that the blades will go the other way. Can you see that? Hang on. I'm not sure if you can see it. Let's see. So there, you can see it's going the opposite direction, right? Okay, because it's stirring, it's not chopping. It's amazing. It's a blender, but it is stirring for us. And can you hear that sizzle? There's a sizzle in there. Fantastic, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna get 50 ml of water, which is for the TM5 would be half of this. And then I'm gonna close it because I want the temperature to be maintained. And then I will watch for the timer to go down when there's about a minute left. And then I'm gonna add in my leaves. These are my leaves. Okay. So you can actually vary this recipe. Like the original recipe is for broccoli and carrots. So maybe you have some leftover cabbages. So cabbage and cauliflower and carrots and maybe some snow peas. So you can mix it up. You can use the similar method, which is sauteing the garlic for 3 minutes. And then you add in your veggie. And say, for example, you increase your quantity a little bit. Maybe you add in more cauliflower. Then maybe you cook it a bit longer because cauliflower cooks a bit longer than veggie. Or maybe you like your cauliflower crunchy. Then you can adjust it accordingly. But from this, then you can start to get ideas that you can vary your recipe. Like maybe you can do, instead of normal oil, you can use sesame oil. So you have sesame oil with fried garlic. I don't know, you can, or maybe you can even have sesame oil and ginger that goes very well together. And other variations, if you want to add shallots or onions, you can, but the sauteing time you can increase a little bit. So from 3 minutes, maybe you do like 4 minutes, something like that, or 3:30 or 4 minutes. And the important thing is you start off using the basic recipe, you try it out, and then you play around with it. So that gives you a very good base to start from. You saute using 120C, and then when you want to reduce the liquid, then you use Varoma, or you can just cook normally at 100C. So now while I'm talking, my veggie is about 119, and I'm about to put in my veggie here. And it's so wonderful. The aroma is here. There are no fumes. It's just steam coming out. So this is the reason why we have to use our measuring cup, and we don't cover it with anything else, because it's designed to release steam as we cook. Okay, so what you can do now, at the 1 minute point, you turn it off by pressing this knob, and it turns off. And then you just, sorry, it's quite a lot of leaves, so I'm just gonna open it up. Look at that, my stems are still bright green, and I'm just gonna dump in my leaves, and I'll continue cooking for 1 minute. Masuk macam ni. And then up to you, nak tambah kicap ke, whatever you like. So I'm just gonna set it back to about 120, Varoma, reverse, speed spoon, and then I continue cooking. Maybe I feel like adding a splash of soy sauce. Again, this is entirely up to you. It's a personal preference. Maybe there's also a version where they only use soy sauce and salt. So it's totally up to you, but you can see how stress-free it is to have vegetables every time, and you can be creative with your leftovers as well, because that's life, you know. It's at some point or another we're gonna have leftovers, and yeah, that's how we that's how we work, right? And it's so easy. I can sit down and relax. I have my serving plate here, and then I can just serve my veggie once it's done. Super easy. You can have your veggie in 7 minutes, and you can even prep it if it doesn't involve plucking leaves of kangkung. Say you're working with broccoli and carrots. That's very fast. While the garlic is sautéing, then you can actually prep your vegetables at that moment. So it's a very, very good backup plan, and it's such a delicious veggie, broccoli and carrots. Everybody loves it. Even kids and adults who don't like vegetables, when they try it in every cooking experience that we do, everybody loves it. It's just because we are using low temperature cooking, and it brings out the natural flavor of the food. So now my veggie is done. It looks a bit half cooked, but by the time I turn it upside down, and the residual heat will actually continue cooking the thing, and by the time we eat it, it will be just right. So let me move my camera just a teeny weeny bit so you can see what I'm doing. So it's so amazing, right? A blender that can cook veggie, and look at my leaves. They're not shredded at all. Look at that. Look at that. So kalau ada bawang goreng ke apa ke, then you can sprinkle on top. Ni pun dah cukup cantik dah. Just nice. Ingatkan tadi tak cukup masak, tapi bila dah tuang macam ni, cantik je. Just nice. Dah boleh makan terus. And then bolehlah rasa nak tambah garam ke. Tak cukup garam pun tak apa. Better less salt for our diet, kan? Better. So, siap dah kita punya sayur. Macam tu je. And the best part, my bowl, there's nothing burn. I can just do a quick pre-clean, and I can proceed with my next dish. Or maybe, depending on what I want to cook next, maybe I want to cook another veggie. I don't even have to wash this. I can just continue with my cooking. So that's how the Thermomix makes life so much easier for us. I hope this gives you ideas on how to make your next veggie dish. And if you want to know more about Thermomix, let me know. I'll be more than happy to give you more details. Assalamualaikum, and I hope you enjoyed my sharing for today. Kangkung masak sambal. Selamat Hari Raya, everyone.